Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we're playing more of the Battle Rush seasonal event, which is an alternate game mode in which we have just 8 seconds to take our turn and 15 seconds to choose our cards in between rounds. That means that we need to play lightning fast, and this deck is just the way to do it. So let's go give it a look. So today we'll be playing a Monsters Force of Nature Thrive deck, because Thrive is a very simple archetype to play, which is very helpful in this event, because that means you don't need to think very much when you're taking your turn, which is important when you have only 8 seconds to make up your mind. So in general, of course, that means we're going to play our low power Thrive units first with things like Nekker and things like Endrega Larva. That gives us a lot of engines on the board very quickly, and then those scale quickly over time as we start to play either our bigger Thrive cards with things like the Bruxa, or just big cards in general with things like Cave Troll, even Matta, or Pugo. But our main win conditions are going to be using our scenario, which basically just makes all of our Thrive cards much stronger. So this is one way to win a round. And our other way is generally going to be to combine Caranthir, who creates a 1-power copy of one of our monsters cards, and use that on either one option being Sir Scratch-a-Lot, because he helps support our both Thrive cards and is also a powerful engine, as his power increases by 2 every turn. Or, alternatively, you could also go for Koshchey, who, when you combine the original Koshchey in our hand with the extra Koshchey we're getting through Caranthir, means we can put 1 in each row, and every time we trigger its Thrive, as long as we wait until we get to that Adrenaline 4, that means we can get a ton of Thrive cards on the board. So when we use our leader ability with this to trigger that Thrive and other big cards, then we can get a ton of points really quickly. Just bear in mind that this one takes up a ton of board space, so want to make sure that you have enough room to benefit from all those extra Thrive engines and have enough room to play the cards to trigger all that Thrive in the first place. So that is going to be your win condition for the other round. Other than that, we have some thinning to give us a little more consistency with stuff like Roach and also Best Boy. But outside of that, it's really very simple. You would like to, if you can, play Penitent and then use one of your Orchard Mantraps in the melee row to consume it, and that also helps you trigger more Thrives, but means that you can that way summon out your Pugo for great additional value. Otherwise, obviously, he's an 11-point unit, which is not bad. His deployability is going to hurt one of your own cards, but he's good for triggering a whole bunch of Thrives, so either way, Pugo can still be a nice addition to the deck. So with that being said, let's go see it in action. Alright, so going up against Skellige here, and they'll go first. Alright, so we want to dump Best Boy and Roach. And we have Oneiromancy, which we could use to get, we can go Caranthir plus Koshchey, that's one win condition, and we can go Oneiromancy into Scenario is probably our other. So I think that's our plan at the moment. That is a very odd first choice. Wait, no, he's been reworked, right? Okay. I take it back. I take it back. I just forgot the way that he's been reworked. Okay, so here's Scenario, obviously. Also gets out Roach. Also apparently took us long enough that got played on a random row. So our turn had technically ended, but now we'll just spam our Thrives, so things like Nekker, Endrega Larva, they're a raid deck. Okay. Not sure how well they're going to be able to handle the extent to which we go wide, though. I think that might work to our advantage. But Primal Savagery does certainly have a target to trigger the death blow. And we'll go Larva. Get you out. And you cannot take that out, so I think we'll still hold off there. So now we can go Phooca is probably the next best option here for Thrive purposes. I mean, more control, more boosts, basically the question. That is 3 damage. Okay, that's a little unfortunate. It's a little unfortunate because it means we're not getting the extra boost from our scenario, since we were already going to have a big enough unit to trigger this Thrive. Who do they go for here? Do they remove? Okay, that actually kind of helps us, because now we don't need to be worried about having our cards already able to trigger a Thrive. We get the extra scenario boost. Still not loving this, but we are still in a pretty big lead here. Might even consider, actually, if they don't pass us here, we do pass. We do pass now. because they are a card down. They've not caught us. So they need to either play more cards here to win round 1 and be multiple cards down, or they just accept that they lost round 1 while a card down. Which means that we can now get very aggressive here in round 2. Let's get rid of Pugo, because we might use Oneiro to get Penitent and then consume that. Let's stump you as well. Alright, so I think what we'll do here is we'll save Koshchey. We'll save Koshchey. That will be our backup plan, Caranthir plus Koshchey for round 3 in case it comes to that, but we're going to get a little bit of Thrive on the board, and then we're going to go Oneiro into Penitent, consume it with the Mantrap, give us some Thrive triggers, and that'll also get out Pugo. That is my plan for the time being. Wondering to what extent it's worth it to Cave Troll, but I think we'd still rather get Thrive on the board first. I guess technically speaking, Penitent is our lowest Thrive card, so we'd kind of like to get that down first. They're doing a pretty good job thus far. Now this might make them a little more hesitant, though. Since this does have a Death Wish. And if all they do is destroy this, then that will backfire on them. Okay, but they're going to destroy it and get another unit on the board, so let's see how this all lines up here. Because we get an 11. Granted, I was planning to consume. Let's see, I think we just settle for this. It means that we will maintain 1 card advantage going into round 3. That's the big thing. Alright, so now this round is all about Koshchey and Caranthir giving us a bunch of Thrive units, but, I mean, Nekker and Endrega Larva are usually good in the long round, but we're going to run out of board space. I'm a little concerned about that. And again, like, what, Scratch-A-Lot is best here, I suppose? Takes up a little less space, so in that way it's a little bit better, but, okay, they're going Herald. Not really sure we're going to do much to directly answer. Let's just get Thrive on the board here. And if they do destroy some stuff, then, well, Koshchey, Caranthir should create plenty more Thrive units. We're going to do some consumption with Mantrap for the double Thrive triggers anyway, so that might help to clear out some room as well. Otherwise, board space would become a bit of a limiting factor. Alright, we'll try to avoid melee row a little bit here. Gonna be clogging both rows quite a bit, I think. Let's see, obviously we're not gonna hit you. Let's go for you, I guess. Mott's is a little bit tricky as well. Actually, what does Matcha gives us Scratch Life, doesn't she? Oh, okay. Okay, we should be doing that on our next turn then. And we need to wait a little bit before Caranthir gets, or really, Koshchey gets into Adrenaline range anyway. So there is Scratch-A-Lot. That might be our next play. I think it is, actually. Let's see. So Adrenaline 4 means we play you, or we go Caranthir Koshchey this turn is 1 turn early on the initial Koshchey, but then that means when we play the original Koshchey from our hand, that does activate Adrenaline 4 immediately. So, take your pick. It's 1 slightly preemptive Koshchey here. They should remove this with their control. That's actually the primary reason why we have Cave Troll, is to protect this vulnerable Koshchey at the moment. We obviously still have the original Koshchey, but they're going to absolutely go after this, as they should. Alright, so let's go original Koshchey here. We'll go leader ability as well, I think. They'll give us now an extra Larva, so this is their issue. Is now we have enough engines on the board that they would need to answer all 4 of these things in 1 turn, which they just can't realistically do. Tier is a strong card, though, of course. Now we're going to get Scratch-A-Lot down here, which we arguably should have done earlier, but then again, a lot of stuff we wanted to play early. So, probably Cave Troll, and then we'll finish with, that's going to trigger our Thrives. We'll finish with the Mantraps to consume whatever is not a Thrive card, probably Woodland Spirit, maybe Caranthir. They are continuing to help us spawn in more stuff. Yeah, we're actually going to need to put you here, I think. Otherwise we're going to run out of space, technically. Might have even wanted to have done this first. All right, it is close, but we have 2 cards to their 1. That is a humongous invader, but it does give us an extra larva, which is useful. All right, we're gonna have to see here. So we're gonna go Mantrap. Consume here, I think, is still enough. I should have double-checked, admittedly, but there we go here. Still close. Now we go consume you. Should be plenty. To trigger those thrives, throw in Scratch Lot while we're at it. And that means we will take the win. Alright, so going up against Northern Realms here. And they'll go first. Okay, so let's get rid of Roach. And then we have a lot of our low-end Thrive units, but we can use Oneiromancy to get our scenario, and we can use Caranthir on Scratch Lot if we'd like to. Why don't we try swapping out? That's why you maybe don't swap out, but okay, alas. Alright, they're going with Siege. That is extremely ambitious in an event like this. I think we're going to go Scenario. I think we're going to go Scenario. That'll get Roach out, at the very least. So basically, Scenario is going to be one of our win conditions, and then our other one is going to be Caranthir, probably plus either Scratch Lot or potentially... Okay, no, that's fine. Or potentially... Could be Koshchey, if we happen to get that. Okay, not really too concerned about destroying their weak units that are not doing much of anything at this point. I don't like Yen, though. Don't particularly like Yen. Okay, just get you down here. Some more Thrive tempo. We could destroy Yen, that'd be great, but she is not going to be the easiest card to dispose of here. Right, Kyrek City Guard shouldn't really matter. I mean, it is an engine, but the movement isn't going to be a factor. Let's get more Thrive going here, in which case we'll go for, actually, you. Okay, Boiling Oil is well-timed. Okay. I think we're going to have to play into pretty big Yen here, unfortunately. Not sure we have a great workaround outside of that. Because she's going to hit a bunch of stuff at 6 here. But they're on blue coin, so the pressure is on them to keep pace here. And Yen's already proving to be a pretty big factor. But now we can go... I think it's Matta. She will trigger our Thrives. She gives us Koshchey, so that does give us some options with Caranthir, although don't really want to be doing that right now. Penitent is tough. We don't have a way to consume it. Let's see, Siege Tower. I mean, we could go Scratch. Could go Scratch Lot. It's not really the timing I'd like to see, but you know. Right, we can commit to Caranthir plus Koshchey later on. There's the huge Yen value we were talking about. Onsace. Ambitious. Okay. Really don't want to do that, though. It's going to be a bad Penitent, and it's going to be this. That's probably going to be all we can do this round. It at least forces them to play one more turn. Obviously, they wanted to play one more turn because they have Onsace now, but... down goes Scratch a lot. I think this is where we're going to end up passing, and we're just hoping that they have committed... obviously, we committed Scenario, which is huge. But we still have a lot of firepower left with Caranthir plus Koshchey. And since they are going to have played one more card than us, I think we may be able to still sneak past without having to do much in round 2. They may drive past. We still got that Best Boy stuck in our hand, which was unfortunate. So that could have been the difference maker if we had something else in place of that. Alright, so definitely mulliganing Best Boy. And, I mean, Endrega Larva, great in a long round, but Koshchey is going to give us a whole lot of those, and they could flood our rows quite a bit here. Pugo would have been what we would have gotten. Okay, tell you what, we'll go Endrega Larva, just because I am a little concerned about running out of space. We don't do that. Best Boy at this point. I mean, actually, that might be a good thing, because as I said, Koshchey is going to take up a ton of space. Alright, Alright, so looking mostly for Thrive here, I think. We can probably still do better than Bruxa, though. Yeah, Mantrap would be, I think, ideal. Okay, Cave Troll. Suppose we can make that work. It is a little preemptive for Caranthir Koshchey anyway, so we don't really want to be doing that just yet. We can also do Phooca, Cursed Damsel, those. I mean, we could go with Endrega Larva as well, I suppose. Yeah, so should be doing you first. You are, of course, the lowest Thrive unit we have. Let's see. So Caranthir, or rather Koshchey, is Adrenaline 4, so we could start going Caranthir Koshchey now, and then do the original Koshchey on our next turn, and that way we do get it all. We get both Koshcheys ready to go right off the bat. This is probably the one we should put in the row with Cave Troll, though. That's kind of why Cave Troll was there. It does mean if we do it this early that we get one turn of just a one-power drone, so that's a little bit of a dead spot on the board, which, as I said, is a concern, because this is going to take up a ton of space. Now we do this. And not actually going to use leader ability just yet. Usually you would as soon as you drop the double Koshchey, but since we still have more Thrive, we'd like to get on the board. I'm going to hold off a little bit until we have that happen. So let's prioritize you. What did we establish Oneiromancy was going to be to get? A Mantrap, probably? Yeah. So we'll go for the double Thrive proc in that case. Okay, then we get you down. Not really triggering these Thrives, but that's going to change pretty quickly when we go Pugo, leader ability, and I'm assuming we should be able to get... Yeah, if we consume Pugo, surely we can get the Thrive triggers there. Again, I think the bigger concern is board space. So we're going to want to go melee row, right? Yeah, melee row is where you go with the Mantrap. Alright, it's Kira. Don't want to be putting that next to card with Veil, though. That's useless. Alright, so now we do this. Consume something big, and I guess we'll just make it Pugo just to be absolutely certain that we'll get the Thrive triggers. Looks like we've just enough board space. Won't bother with Cursed Damsel at this point. Also, it'll take too long for all these Thrive procs to trigger anyway. So what is their last card? I don't think they'll be able to catch us at this point, but we'll see. They have Uma's Curse, which could be, I mean, well, they don't have the original Old Spirit Tip anyway. So that's not that big of a deal, and they can't even have time to play that last card from their hand, and so we will definitely take the win. Alright, so going up against Nilfgaard here, and we'll go first. Alright, so let's get rid of Best Boy, and Roach, and maybe the Kikmore Worker here. I'm eyeing our scenario as our round 1 win condition, and then Caranthir, we'd like to have something to combine with him for our other win condition. I'm a little concerned that Nilfgaard might have a bit of control, possibly even a heat wave to shut down our scenario, so I'm going to just take it a little bit easy here and go Nekkers first, just to see if we can learn a little bit more about what they're doing. Granted, they're going to destroy Nekker. Alright, now let's break it out. Let's see what they have to say about this. Alright, another Blightmaker. Hope this hits Roach, I guess. Oh, wait, what? They didn't even... Okay. They might have been a little too slow there. I think they were a little sluggish with their selection. Alright, now that they are going to lock. Not the end of the world to go after one of what will be multiple of our Thrive cards here. Best Boy comes out as well. Master Puppets. Okay, I mean, that's a 7. We should be going pretty wide, I would think, so I'm not too concerned about that, to be honest with you. You know, if they want to steal a 6 or 7 point card with a 4 point card, then so be it. If they don't, then... Yeah, that was a little bit odd. First Damsel may become big enough to... Usually you steal with Master Puppets, and then you lock Master Puppets, but okay. Still have a pretty large lead here, so maybe we just go with one Phooca and then we call it a round. Is kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, and they'll pass. Okay, understandable. So we'll win round 1. our scenario did what it was supposed to do. So now what we're looking for is something to combine with Caranthir, and we haven't really found it yet. We're looking for, let's dump you. That's our way to get you, and we can consume you with Mantrap. Might even use Matta here in this round, because although Thrive usually does like a long round, and by playing in round 2, we're kind of making that less so the case. Matta draws us into card, and this gives us Koshchey. So now we do have a Caranthir target for us. So that was the big reason for doing it. Just want to make sure that that's an option. Yes, we could have done it in round 3, but ill. Oh, okay. Well, good thing that we got Koshchey, because Scratchthought was going to be our alternative target for Caranthir. They've not caught us yet, so they will need to play one more card. They do have one more throwaway card, so not a huge deal. They are doing more mill, though. Wow, where did this come from? They did not look like a mill deck in round 1. Okay, we draw into the Nekker Warrior, which is not great. I think we just don't want to get Pugo. I would prefer... yeah, second Mantrap. I think that's ideal. So we'd like for them not to mill Pugo. Which I'm sure I just jinxed. No, okay. Good, good, good. Alright, so now we're just going to get some Thrive on the board here early, which I think means Larvae. We're going to... oh, we still have Oneiromancy, which could end up getting... I didn't realize we had this still. Apparently we had that in round 1. But yeah, I guess that's going to be for Nekker Warrior. So we are going to have this summon out Pugo. Okay, what's the next Thrive card? Okay, sure. Probably going to be the Phooca's. It's going to be you as well. And we're waiting to use Caranthir plus Koshchey until we're into Koshchey Adrenaline range. As damage is adding up quickly there, though. So I think this Oneiromancy to get the Nekker Warrior is actually might be happening pretty soon at this rate. Technically, this is also Thrive. We should be playing that early as well. They're going to lock, I think, you, though. They've been pretty concerned about the Damsels we've played in the past. Alright, fortunately, this will still trigger that Thrive, so that is kind of convenient. But they should be hesitant to destroy that Penitent, because that is, of course, going to give us some stuffs. Unfortunate. This is probably going to be Pugo. Okay, no. Alright, so Oneiromancy is probably bricked, unless we actually might not want to consume you. Tell you what we'll do. We'll, let's do this first. One would assume they were looking to do coup on Cantarella. That at least shuts that down. Okay, fair enough. Now we're gonna go Caranthir, get a Koshchey down, and then we're gonna do it again. So they're gonna get Pugo, because this is about to be coup on Cantarella. Just a couple turns too quickly, I think. Okay, that's unfortunate, but we have another Koshchey, of course. There's the most predictable play you've ever seen. Yeah, I'm just surprised at this. Like, where did this come from? Really didn't seem like they were mill at the beginning. Alright, now that we have that Koshchey down, we'll do this. So this Oneiromancy is complete brick at this point. It was gonna be... I was going to just not consume Penitent and use this to tutor out Pugo instead. Yeah, that's not a huge deal. Fortunately, these are not that big, the Mantraps. In fact, might even deliberately brick mill now. Or rather, brick Oneiromancy now. So we have last say still, with something meaningful. What are they going to steal? Probably that Phooca? Alright, so now we go, and we consume... would have been you. Instead, I guess it's going to be this. And get the double Thrive trigger, and it's probably just going to be another Mantrap that gets consumed here. It's going to have to be melee row, though, unfortunately. Yeah, I probably should have played that Koshchey in this row. They're out space, but are they going to destroy you? Ooh, don't love that steal, though. Okay, so we just need to trigger the Thrive, basically, which means we want this to be pretty big, which means it might still need to be you. And they certainly disrupted us with the mill, but wasn't enough to stop us from taking the win. So there's a look at a Monsters Thrive deck for the new Battle Rush seasonal event. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and leave a comment down below to let me know which other cards, archetypes, and factions you'd like us to experiment with next. And take a look at our playlist for all of our previous Battle Rush videos as well. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.